Hello and welcome back to Planet Stronghold Colonial Defence. Don't worry, we have a neutral graft which can take care of that. Neural graft, not neutral graft, you idiot. If you please, let's return to the topic of gift giving. Given our interest in genetics, please accept a sample of Earth creatures. That is quite thoughtful. Pray tell, do you know what creatures are here? A veritable mix. Jellyfish, tiger, elephant. Ooh, this shall be fun indeed. I have studied your Earth legends. Would you care for a chimera? I would have to respectfully decline, Your Majesty. True, it wouldn't match your decor. I have monopolized enough of your time. You should probably confer with the other envoys before they decide we're conspiring with their demise.
Illuminated Vanguard Nature.
Why am I always yawning? Greetings, Captain. It is nice to meet in a more peaceful surrounding. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. King Ignis, on the other hand. You take your pleasures where you can. To be honest, I'm a bit surprised Shilurix actually seems to be having fun. When an Apex Run is making a party, there is usually a Mandarin crying. Given what I know of the Apex Run, Shilurix sees this as another contest. More political than physical, though, and we know how he loves combat. At least the Apex Run are honest foes. You have set all the races against one another. I wasn't the one who launched the sneak attack. Nator, your outburst does you little credit. If only acid drips from your tongue, be best to keep your mouth closed. It shall be as you bid, for now. I'm sorry about that. In this instance, though, Shilurix's instincts are quite correct. So, while we have a spare moment, how fare my two patients? There seems to be no after effect from the Crystal Plague. Griselli is probably going to accept your offer of training. Excellent. She would be most welcome. She would be my first human student, and a great opportunity to learn as well. Of course, that is if her own talents align with mine. Talents? Much like other talents, not all psionics are the same. My people are renowned healers, but if you want someone who specializes in illusion and misdirection, you go with a Maridon. The Matric go for simple domination. Fortunately, it is only most effective on their own people. It'll be interesting to see what my species' talents will be.
It is hard to say.
Grisellia is the first one of note that I met, excepting you and your sibling. Really, I love you, but it is unwise to reveal hidden strengths to our foe. What? You didn't know? Oh, of course not. I forget your how new your people are to this. One of a healer's abilities is to sense potential within people, and if desired, give training. Your Grisellia's strength is the equal of any healer, but yours is nothing to ignore either. I'll have to take your word on that. Actually, that brings me well to one of the two gifts I have for you. The first is a knife, one for you and one for your sibling. It is based on the same design as Drayden's swords and guns, and once you anoint the Garl stone with your blood, you and only you can draw it while you still breathe. Thank you for your generosity. Which brings me to my second gift. After this gathering, you shall have your own Explorer plant. Why don't you go blabbing all our secrets now? Plants and me don't get along. Is there something special about this plant? It is one of my people's most highly regarded secrets. Its fruit can heal all but the deadliest of wounds, but it is rather delicate and requires the utmost care. And in return... We offer you Remy, that's a bit harsh. An offer from Xavier for markets on Earth. That seems like a good deal for them. That is quite generous. I did notice him when our caravan stopped. He bargains almost as well as one of our merchants. Now pardon me while I talk with the other envoys. I hope Schiller and Shilurix prove as brief as Ignis will be.
Okay, so...
Oh boy. Got gifts for everyone. Hopefully they like them. As anyone who saw the roommates Let's Play... Jesus Christ, that was almost 2 years ago. Yeah, but as anyone who saw that quite a while ago, I suck at giving people gifts. Anyway. Captain, the Paladrian envoy should be here by now. Maybe they had Christoph as their co-pilot. We still made it in time. Yes, but who ever heard of a shortcut through a Borogrub tunnel? Actually, we just received word from the Paladrians. Apparently they're having vehicle trouble. As we're closer, they're asking if we can lend aid. Well, Captain, looks like we have a service call to make. Mission 22. Paladrian area. It was pretty obvious something was going to go wrong. Thanks for coming along, Captain. The call said the Paladrians broke down. I believe it, but yeah, given our recent run of luck, I don't think caution's uncalled for. Times like this, I wish I had my rabbit's foot. Exactly. It's times like this when I wish I didn't watch Charlotte's old vids. You know, someone goes out into the middle of nowhere and their body ends up being used for a nightmarish puppet show. Oh gee, thanks, Captain. Now I have a more disturbing image to replace the one I had earlier. Yeah, tell me about it. I've been watching Criminal Minds recently, and I recently had the one with Brad Dourif as a guy who's actually turning dead people into... well, actually, they're still alive. But he's turning them into human marionettes by sort of dislocating all their joints and sort of hanging them up. And yeah, it's really creepy. But admittedly, it's Brad Dourif, so, you know, he does creepy really exceptionally well. That's why you never leave home unarmed. A rocket launcher should be the minimum. Until they find out the creeping horror is bulletproof. Just once I'd love to see a monster choke to death on its victim. Captain, I'd take the envoy's transport up ahead, but they aren't responding.
That cloud of black smoke doesn't leave much room for hope. Take us closer. We keep a lookout for other dangers.
Stop yawning, goddammit. It's 17 minutes past 8 in the morning. You should not be tired. I don't see any other vehicle marks. There wouldn't be any if they used some kind of hovercraft. Yeah, but they probably left plenty of traces. Bullet casings, footprints. And I bet when we return to base, a visual inspection will reveal missing ammunition, weapons and clothing. And the electronic records would show nothing was amiss. Captain, do you think some of our own people are trying to sabotage us? I mean, I know some people aren't happy with the aliens. Doubtful, look at the boot prints. They're human boots, but something is off. The gate, something's wrong with it. The prints seem deep, especially if you look at ours. Correct. Whoever wore these boots didn't walk like a human. But who? Human boots would never fit on Apex round feet or Drayden's. Madron? I don't think so. Madrons move like dancers, even their warriors are more graceful than this. And look how far down the boot prints go. Whoever wore these were human-shaped, but much heavier. So there's a fat person slaying diplomats, or someone human-shaped but heavy. Lucius? No, that can't be. He was at the soiree the whole time. And there's your cue to hide. Way ahead of you, Captain. Murder. Inglorious death. Astarion Khan, wait, I can explain. Understanding. No. Your Paladrian Bane. Ancestors grant us strength. Lure us out. Kill. No more. I really wish he'd stop making me fight him. It's like the third time we've had to fight him over a misunderstanding. Yeah, and that's just awkward. Oh, bother. I forgot they don't auto-attack walls. Employ some volunteers, I need to be able to spam damage. God, he must have a bloody huge hand by now. Alright. You three. Nice and efficient. Target the Paladrians. I'm going to leave my second sharpshooter out for now, because ideally I want to save up and if possible get the artillery tank in the fight. That's annoying. This gives you room to get a second one of those guys in. Unless he actually plays some cards soon, he's not going to... In fact, no, he's dead this turn. So I have enough firepower on the board to take him out. Isn't this a nice change of pace? Looks like you have a rather important prisoner, Captain. Death. Death to you all. We are not responsible for this, Asterian Khan. Please, just listen for a moment. You're here. Only Paladrean blood spilled. No humans dead. Not enough. Someone is framing us. Lies. Fields of lies. Only punishment left. Death. Death to Truth Killer. Death to Truth Killer's people. Oh, I can see this is going to be a long ride back to the colony. I just can scrounge up some aspirin for the headache his yelling is giving me. Now on to scene 22. I keep forgetting to look up that Python reference, because I can't remember which scene number it is. It's one of the low 20s. It's either 21, 22, 23, or 24. And I know I'm pretty sure it's not 21. Anyway, I'm glad to see you're safe and sound, Diana. We tried to call back to base, but we couldn't get through. Blame that on the Paladreans. Their ambush knocked out our communications, and I'm going to have to replace that whole unit. Yeah, but you got our vehicle running on a little more than a shoestring and a prayer. Alex goes back to racing. He should hire you for a pit crew. And here I thought you'd be mad at missing out on the after-party games. They weren't exactly subtle about that. They just came in, guns a-blazing. It was rather puzzling. They wouldn't reply when I hailed them. They just kept up with their attack. But their assault does explain why their attack on the colony was weaker. They split their force when they couldn't afford to. Well, the Paladrean's waiting for you, Captain. It would make sense if they faked the distress call. This is a frame job. The Paladrean diplomat was killed. We were meant to take the blame. Spent ammunition, human bootprints, and everything. Well, it wasn't any personnel from the base. All of those can be accounted for. This leaves some of Caden's friends. Wouldn't be the first time some of his people decided to freelance a little on the side. I actually saw this happening. I made it known in uncertain terms that I wouldn't brook any bullshit while this gathering was going on. How many heads did you have to bust? Only a few. Mira assured me she can regenerate their teeth once they've learned their lesson. Next time invite me. Things are getting pretty boring without a good barroom brawl. It would be nice to bloody a knuckle or two. Captain, I just directed a few cameras towards the supply depot. Most curious, while electronically everything appears accounted for, visually we are missing ammunition and clothing. I just did a visual scan of the robot play as well. Several Waru sentinels are missing. And that explains the last piece of the puzzle. Our chief suspect was someone who could fit into a human boot. That left most of the aliens out the running. I'd hate to go shoe shopping if I was an Apex Ran. Imagine how many boxes you have to carry. That is what slaves are for, my dear. That and keeping my crest clean. Viscera are ever so untidy. Not to mention the blueprints were sunk too deep to have come from a Madron. We tend to go barefoot as it is. However, they do make a statement. Imagine some black thigh highs. I do. Deep breaths, Saviour, deep breaths. I'm pleased to see the diplomats were kept safe and sound during the attack. About that. I should strike you down where you stand. Is something the matter? I'm registering a formal complaint, Captain. Your sibling shouldn't have tried to keep us away from the fighting. It was kind of fun, actually. Security actually drew weapons on Alpha Silurix and King Ignis for their own safety. At least until they were tossed in toward the wall. They're going to wake up with the worst headache. On Earth, diplomats are considered untouchable and are sent back to their country in times of war. Typical for those afraid to get their hands a little dirty. Why would you follow someone unwilling to get their claws dirty? However, do you think the Paladreans would have honoured our neutrality? No, it would have been very simple to change the planet's balance of power and take you all out. And probability indicates humankind would have been held responsible. See, what did I tell everyone? It wasn't just paranoia, now was it? The easiest way to keep secret between two people is if one of them's a corpse. When I break bread with my host, I am obligated to protect their interests. Your enemy is my enemy. I don't think our reactions cover humans' love. Hell, I should summon the swarm trying to keep us out of the fun. It's been a while since I had a chance to shatter those glistening bastards. Best party ever. The Paladreans tickle when you crunch them underfoot. Well, with that charming image, I think that's a fine point to end this part. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.